Welcome to our August A2NewTech. For those of you who aren't able to find a seat, we do have some overflow room down the hall in 1020 that we're simulcasting to, so there'll be an audio visual there as well. If you'd like to stand in the back, that's fine as well. How's everyone doing? It's a great summer here. I have to admit, at this A2NewTech, I started off on a little bit of a bittersweet note. This is actually will be my last A2NewTech as the official host of this. Very capable Brian Kelly is going to be taking over a lot of the organizing. I think, as you all know, we have an amazing lineup here for you tonight. We are stretching the format a little bit to accommodate all the awesome in the room. For this night, we're going to have each of our speakers do their pitch. We will have up to 5 minutes if they like. We will have the first half is 5 Techstars Mobility companies will be presenting. And then we'll do a Q&A probably for about 7 minutes after that. So if you have questions as the presenters are giving their pitch, please hold on to those questions for the intermission. And then we'll do the second half, the second 5 Techstars Mobilities companies. And then we'll have another Q&A, and then a brief community announcements section. So if you're hiring, if there's an upcoming tech event or an upcoming start event, please let the community know. And then it's very likely that we'll be headed somewhere afterwards for drinks and food. And I don't want to stand on ceremony for too much longer. So please welcome to introduce us for this evening, Ted Serbinski from Techstars Mobility.
Hi guys, thanks for having us today. My name is Ted Serbinski. I'm the Managing Director at Techstars Mobility. We're excited to bring our 10 companies downtown. From downtown Detroit to Ann Arbor, and before we kind of hear from the companies, I just want to give you a few-minute overview of just what is Techstars, what is mobility, what are we kind of working on, and what are we working towards. So Techstars is a global ecosystem that helps entrepreneurs around the world build great businesses. We're really in the business of helping startups from the idea phase all the way through the exit phase build their companies. And most of us know us for our accelerator, but we actually kind of have 3 products that we're liking to describe Techstars as now. So our accelerator is the typical 90-day program. We have 18 programs around the world now, continue to expand around the world. The Detroit program and mobility is one of the newest. But we also have a venture fund. We have a little under $300 million under management with that fund. And recently, Techstars acquired Up Global. So Startup Weekend, Startup Next, Startup Digest, all those assets are now part of Techstars, and that's kind of part of our community bundle. And so we really have 3 different products that we like to put out there that we really help from all the way starting at the community side, going through the accelerator, the venture side, through exit, helping startups and entrepreneurs all along that journey. And when you look at the numbers with Techstars, it just works. We're really open with all of our stats, techstars.com/stats. 76% of the companies are still in business. 14% have been acquired and 10% have failed. And this is looking at just under 600 companies over the last 8 years since 2007. And the way we've been able to kind of invert the typical most startups fail, in our case most startups succeed model, is working with great mentors in the region. A lot of the folks in this room have been downtown to mentor these startups. A lot of you hopefully be downtown next year to mentor the startups. And that's really what is key to Techstars, is the mentorship in the community, people that have been there, done that can really help give back and work with these companies. And just another quick stat, so that this is actually already out of date. The total companies is, I think it's 580 something right now. 90% are still active or been acquired. And this total funding is already out of date by $500 million. It's just under $1.6 billion right now, raised by startups that have gone through our accelerator programs. And then our total portfolio is actually closer to $45 billion now. And that's looking at all the companies that have gone through the accelerator program and also have core investment from our venture arm. And so what is Techstars Mobility? What do we focus on in downtown Detroit? We start with what is mobility, and we'd like to take a pretty broad thesis to this. And so we're really looking at any technology that addresses the movement of people, goods, and services. And we look at those ecosystems in which those people, services, and objects move or move less. And so it's a very broad, academic-y type approach, but that allows us to really find the best companies all around the world looking at next-generation mobility solutions. Connected vehicles, transportation, logistics. We like to think of it anything from Uber to Foursquare to Tie Rubber. And I think tonight you're going to see that broad depth of mobility companies that are going to be presenting here. For this program, Techstars has brought a different type of model than in the past. So in the past, we've had two types of models. We've had a city program where Techstars Boulder or Techstars Austin can take any type of companies. Or we've partnered with organizations like Disney, Kaplan, Nike, Qualcomm on very specific accelerators that are vertical focused but tied to those organizations. In this program, we've taken a consortium. Mobility affects the entire world, and we've started this program with 8 corporate partners. When we launched the program in December, we launched with Ford, Verizon, and Magna. Magna being the 4th largest supplier in the world, a $36 billion company that most people haven't heard of. And from there, we brought in 5 more companies. And the one that usually stands out is this one, the lower right, McDonald's. Everyone asks, why is McDonald's up there? You have a bunch of car companies, you have tech companies, you have a company that makes hamburgers and chicken nuggets. And when you ask McDonald's about it, they have 35,000 locations around the world. 70 million people each day go through a drive-thru or go to one of their restaurants. When you look at the future of mobility, Uber, autonomous vehicles, drones, all kinds of new types of ways to get around, McDonald's' impact on how people consume and get food. And just today, Uber just announced a new initiative allowing people to actually use Uber to get food. And so this is one way McDonald's is looking towards the future is, we're a transportation company at our core. How do we start to align our business with the future transportation stuff that's going down the road? And so our vision at Techstars Mobility is pretty simple. We want Detroit and the greater Detroit really to be the mobility hub of the world. All these next generation technologies, we want them to be coming to Southeast Michigan. This is what we're good at in the region. We're at the intersection of automotive dominance and entrepreneurial resurgence, and we want to see those companies coming to the region. And we're also working across the region. So we kind of have this philosophy, and credit goes to one of our mentors, Jake Siegel, for introducing me to the terminology One Detroit. But he brought up a great point. We all fly out of the same airport, Metro Detroit. We're all within an hour radius of each other. And so while Techstars Mobility is headquartered in downtown Detroit, we're working across the region. With our partners, Automation Alley, we're up in the suburbs, up in Troy. And then with all the great stuff going on in U of M, the M-City project, we have a ton of great mentors, investors from this area. We're really trying to work across the region and really activate startup entrepreneurship throughout the region. And we're not focused on a specific city, but rather just kind of benefiting everyone throughout the region. And so the results so far, since we launched the program, this graphic's a little hard to read. We had applications from 6 continents, every continent except Antarctica. This was across 42 different countries. We've had hundreds of applications. And some of the big themes we saw were around new types of ride sharing. We saw new types of energy applications, safety, maintenance, logistics, and trucking applications. And so this is what the world was telling us what they thought mobility was in year 1. It'll be interesting to see what we find out in year 2. Year 2 will be running at the same time, next June through September, and applications will be opening up this January. And so hundreds of applications. We chose 10 companies, the 10 companies you guys are going to see tonight. And tonight is a precursor to our demo day. Our demo day is on September 10th. We can make sure everyone in this room gets an invite to it. We have a super packed house for that on the 10th, approaching 700 people right now. It's going to be at the Fillmore Theater, and it's just going to be an amazing day, just kind of celebrating entrepreneurship in the community. And these 10 companies tonight are going to be giving a little more than half of their pitch at demo day. So they're going to be talking about the problem, solution, if they have a demo that's ready to kind of detail, and then if they have an ask, if they're looking for developers, designers, people to beta test their application, and then kind of wrapping it up. The other stuff, business model, markets, big announcements, all that stuff's going to be saved for September 10th. So if it seems a little bit short, it's on purpose. We also want to make sure that we're not taking up too much of your guys' time, so we can save time for Q&A and interaction. So with that, the 2015 inaugural class.
I just want to mention one last time for everyone standing on the perimeter, you're more than welcome to. We do have an audio-visual stream of this event in room 1020 just down the hall. So if you want to see, you can head down that way as well. Please welcome GearBrake.
Thank you, guys. My name is Chris Bailey. I'm the CEO of GearBrake. And when I was 21 years old, I went out and bought a pretty sweet motorcycle. And I couldn't wait to tell everyone about it except for my parents. Because I knew as soon as I did, my mom was going to yell at me and just say, Chris, you're crazy. You're going to kill yourself. And I said, finally when I told them it, I said, no, it's okay. I'll be safe. And my mom and dad, they said, Chris, it doesn't matter. There's only two types of motorcycle riders. There's those that have wrecked, and there's those that are going to wreck. Now, I was just a kid. I didn't believe them. Went out and I rode really safely for 2 years. Until the day that I proved them right. I was out driving along, being safe, and another driver didn't see me and caused me to wreck the bike. Now, the unfortunate part is that I'm not alone in this issue. In the US, safety and security in motorcycles is a $17 billion problem. Globally, it's an estimated $3.9 trillion problem of safety and security in the motorcycle industry. So I built this great company, and over the last 2 years, we've been focused on motorcycle visibility and improving safety in vehicles. We've built over 120 products out of our catalog. And we've got a full nationwide distribution channel of partners helping us to sell these products through there. So we built this up when we came to Techstars, and we really wanted to look beyond just the visibility issue. And we started to notice that there's no one solving the telematics issue in motorcycles. And there's a lot of very specific set of parameters required for motorcycles and telematics. So we're building a device right now, and by demo day, I've got a prototype that I would love to show you guys. And what it is it's going to be embedding a cell card into the motorcycle to be able to detect crashes and send alerts. Since motorcyclists are 30 times more likely to die in an accident than a motorist, every second we can get someone to the scene quicker is a second that could save someone's life. Stolen motorcycles, 30% of them are never recovered. And with a cell device embedded into the motorcycle, we can help recover those vehicles and let people know if it's been stolen. But one of the most exciting parts is by embedding the cell card into there, allowing third-party apps and other integrations into that through our API, we can open it up to a whole host of other cool features and things that people can build out on top of it. So again, my name is Chris Bailey. I'm the CEO of GearBrake, and we're building the connected motorcycle platform. I'd love to talk to you guys afterwards if you're interested in learning more. Thanks.
Y Systems is up next.
Yeah, thank you. Hi guys. While she gets our pitch deck together, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Layla, and I am here from the glorious city of Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, but I'm from LA. LA? Okay. Hey, where? Okay, so pretty much, what do all these companies have in common? Your cable man, Verizon Wireless, and McDonald's. Well, the truth is that all these companies deliver goods in the last mile every day. Whether it's coming to your house to install a television or a cable set, or moving things along their own supply chain, these companies have immense and massive last mile logistic operations that, though seemingly kind of easy, are actually quite complicated. In a given day, a driver might encounter all these problems, be them weather, added orders, canceled orders, traffics, or hazard. Or what about the Tigers game? Lord knows around here, that's no joke. And these little problems multiply throughout the day for every individual driver. So even though the plan is to get from point A to point B, the reality looks much more like that. And guess what? People make mistakes. I know I'm in the middle of a law school, and your job is to make sure we don't make mistakes if there's any lawyers in the room, but that's how you get rich. We make mistakes. So ultimately, if you're an enterprise, your logistics operation in a given day in one distribution facility might look like this if you're the fleet manager. No wonder why Comcast is always late. Yeah. On demo day, we'll show you the demo. I can't show it to you right now, which means you better come. But the reality is that most telematics and fleet systems may take into account a few data points. At Wise, we take into account thousands and thousands of data points. In one line, we're really just a real-time route optimization platform. Figured that line out today after 2 months. So ultimately, we use a lot of algorithms and machine learning to help you make decisions in real time if you are an enterprise that's not ready yet. Our team is big and strong. We met at MIT and where we were at the Media Lab looking into the ways that you can apply data globally and in really meaningful ways. And the truth is, in our perspective, that logistics is really the blood of a city and the life of a city. If you can get through the last mile, you can do some pretty cool things. Our advisors are rock stars. One of them is an early guy at the Media Lab who runs his own data lab, and the second is the current Director of Strategy and Innovation at Walmart. I know who he is, he just changed his title. Don't judge me. Happy to read that. Our sales platforms, or our sales channels are direct, our sales strategies are direct sales and channel sales. You'll learn about that on demo day, and thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Shiva, CEO and founder of Pitstop, where we're building a predictive maintenance engine that can determine engine failures before they even happen. When you're driving down the road and your engine light pops up, you have no idea what's going on. Is your car about to break down, or can you keep driving? Where are you going to go to get it fixed? And how much is this thing going to cost you? Since the age of 12 years old, I've been working with my father in a service center, in which every other customer that walked through the door had the same misunderstanding when it came to service. They just didn't know what was happening. And so I asked the question, why? And I came to a realization that fixing cars is extremely complicated. And it's not just because of all the components in the car, it's because every single car on the road has a very specific optimized maintenance requirement based on factors like the way you drive, the weather conditions around you, whether you're in the city or in a rural area, as well as the way you've been servicing your car throughout its lifetime. So like most automotive companies, I looked to the aerospace industry to try to look for some answers. And I realized that in the 70s, they were using recommended maintenance schedules the same way we have oil stickers in our cars to do oil changes. But by the 90s, they integrated predictive maintenance platforms in which they were able to detect issues while planes were in the air. This increased reliability across the industry by 40%. We need this in our cars today. There's 254 million vehicles in America with over 3.9 trillion miles driven every year. And all this information right now is currently fragmented and ends up evaporating. And so this is where our platform Pitstop comes in. We provide a mobile solution for vehicle owners to be better aware about their maintenance requirements. But even more than that, the way we do this is we aggregate data from OEMs and suppliers on their components, from dealerships on real-time practical information in the field of what's happening, as well as the onboard diagnostic support in your vehicle, reading sensor information real time. We pull this all together to tell you exactly what you need to do to keep your vehicle well maintained. We're launching our beta pilot in the next 2 weeks, and we're looking for people to sign up. You can sign up at thepitstop.repair, and we'll send you a link to download the application. We need people who drive cars, who have iPhones, and are looking for a 20% discount on their next service. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anya Babbitt, founder and CEO of Splt. I want to tell you a story. 1 year ago, I was stuck at a work event. I needed to get downtown for a meeting, and the shuttle bus happened to be overbooked. I turned to the person standing next to me. He was also stuck. This nice guy took pity on us, who also needed to head downtown for a meeting, and offered to share the ride with us. So 3 people got into a car. There was an engineer, a designer, and a hacker. And that's how Splt came about. So I was the hustler looking to share the commute. And at that time, there wasn't a way to connect with other people to share the ride. And even today, most people post sticky notes on ride-sharing boards or use old-school offline discussion boards. At Splt, what we developed is a commuter platform that changes the way people are able to commute to work together. Up here, this is a real image. We chose to start Splt as a commuter solution first because for the 128 million people who commute to work every day, commuting sucks. And 96 million of those people commute to work alone. So employees are getting to work late, missing meetings without that first cup of coffee, and not nearly as productive. So this creates a bad day for the employee, but it's also very bad for businesses who are losing money and time. And it gets even worse. In select states, if employees don't commute together, companies are actually fined up to $80 per employee per month. So that's why we built Splt, a platform for enterprises that makes happy employees. We have a great demo to show at Demo Day, which we're looking forward to. And in terms of benefits, there are two main benefits as a result of coming together and connecting to share the ride. Employees are able to talk about work, they're able to drive in together, maybe meet someone new from a different department, catch up on some online reading perhaps, or just rest before coming into work. And that really fosters a sense of collaboration and community amongst employees. We also are in the business of helping businesses look good in terms of environmental impact and social impact as well as sustainability. So if you're sick of your commute and you want Splt for your office, come find me. I have to split off the stage now. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm going to try and do this without my crutch here. I'm the founder and CEO of Motoroso. My name is Alex, and we're building the market network for automotive and power sports enthusiasts. This is a picture of me and my dad from a couple years ago. And that on the table is actually part of an airplane that he built in our garage over the course of 5 years that he and I then flew across country. And by the look at my face, it could very well be the very moment that I fell in love with speed. That passion grew. Nope, the builds aren't working. All right, there's a cool picture of me racing a motorcycle right after that. So that passion grew into cars, trucks, boats, and motorcycles as well. These project builds that we do as enthusiasts are pretty complex. And we will sometimes consult hundreds of different resources. This next slide's also not going to work. We'll consult hundreds of resources, blogs, forums, marketplaces, Yelp, events, eBay. And all these things fit into content, community, and commerce. Sorry. So this confusing mess is the way that people are doing things today. And this is the competition of a market network like Motoroso. Market networks bring these things together. And House.com, which you also can't see here, House.com is a market network that was built for the home decor industry. They built a $2.5 billion business by bringing all the sort of service providers, content, and commerce into a single platform. And when I was remodeling my kitchen, it made my life a lot easier. The whole time I was doing it, I found myself thinking, man, we really need this for the automotive and power sports enthusiast community. And that kept me awake at night until I decided to do something about it. And Motoroso is now the platform. Wow, awesome slide. So Motoroso is now the platform combining content, community, and commerce together for the automotive and power sports community. This is a good practice. So we'll take a quick tour. Actually, we won't, because it's not going to work. Motoroso is a visual platform. You can quickly discover content visually. It's a little bit like Pinterest meets House.com. And then there's interactive marker elements, videos, products, articles, how-tos that help you dig into an interactive image to actually find out what's going on in that picture, what's going on that build. And all that content then lives in profiles, user profiles, brand profiles, publisher profiles, that's organized into different collections that we call garages. And we've built an embed feature that then lets you take that content, you can actually embed it anywhere on the web to deliver this interactive image experience, which is very unique and something you don't find anywhere else. So we make money 3 ways. A marketplace where you can get a percentage of sales, professionals platform, a service listing provider, service provider listing platform where we get subscription fees and lead generation fees, and an advertising platform where we can drive relevant content to the right people. And so this is an industry that people really underestimate. eBay Motors sells $10 billion a year in parts and accessories. SEMA is the industry trade association, and they track basically the discretionary portion of the automotive power sports industry, all the performance stuff. That industry has grown to $36 billion from about $25 billion 5 years ago. And the automotive power sports total aftermarket is over $325 billion. So it's a huge opportunity, and we're attacking it head on. My team, Andrew, Adam, Brian, and myself have worked at some of the world's leading companies. We've got a working background, and we've got the traction to prove it. Oh, man. So in November of 2013, I went to SEMA, again, 5th largest trade show in the world. 1.2 million people attend this show to come together around their passion for this industry. I talked to hundreds of people, got incredible feedback. This was something that really needed to happen. By SEMA of 2014, I went to the show with a prototype, and I was signing people up on the show floor. And today we're growing exponentially. We have 250 official brand profiles on the platform, and in the last 12 weeks alone, we've grown traffic by 700%. And in the future here, we plan to attract the other 2,300 brands in the cursor, launch our monetizable features, and attract the 40 million enthusiasts in this industry. And keep an eye on us because in November of 2015, we'll be going to SEMA, and we are in a very powerful new partnership with Ford Motor Company. And we're going to be doing a project build with them, building a Ford Mustang 5.0, going to be about a $100,000 car by the time we're done with it. It's going to be a part of their booth alongside 30 other amazing builds. And then the Motoroso technology is going to be powering the entire digital experience for the booth, creating interactive content next to every build on the show floor. Very exciting stuff. Thank you so much, and sorry for all the hiccups.
Okay, that was an action-packed first half. Could you actually come back and join us for a Q&A along with GearBrake, Wise Systems, Pitstop, and Splt? Were there questions from the audience for these 5 first half companies? Yeah.
A question for the Splt presentation there. How are you going to manage to align somebody who will open their wallet to having the actual pain? You talked about companies wanting to have their feeling good about the environment, and that's not really painful. So the driver feels the pain and the company has the money. But how do you think you can get those aligned?
So in terms of how the drivers will be incentivized, or how the corporations will be incentivized?
How do you get somebody to pay for it?
The corporations are actually paying for it, and it either comes out of their HR budget, so either they feel a pain, whether it's a parking pain, such as Quicken Loans, which is already maxed out their garages and would do anything to have 1/8 of the cars taken out of their lots, or whether it's another company that we're under NDA with right now that pays a substantial amount for the cars to be valet parked, or whether it's Honda, who actually really cares about this notion of environmental impact, and they have 28,000 employees in Japan who commute every day an hour and a half without a viable public transportation system. So they see it as a great benefit to their employees.
Great, thank you. Other questions? Yes, and so if you can use the microphone on the table, that way the audio system can pick it up, and then I will hand this microphone to the speakers.
Yeah, sure. So my question is for Pitstop. Do you plan on integrating the user data by a manual input from the users, or do you plan on somehow automatically gathering that data from the onboard car systems?
So we have a version of our application that synchronizes with this OBD Bluetooth dongle that plugs into the dashboard, which automates everything about your vehicle. The one input that we require is mileage. So based on mileage, we can give you the recommended stuff, but it's largely due to this data we're collecting in the back end. So it's basically automated for the most part.
Thank you.
Questions? Yes, I believe there's a question.
Yeah, for Motoroso, if I saw a picture on your website and I wanted to find out, like, you know, who had the tires, like where to buy them, or the rims, or any add-on, could I find that information on your website? Or on your
Great question, John. First, I'm going to let Lisa punch me in public because it's not her fault. It's totally mine. The content in Motoroso is made interactive by the user that uploads the content. Right? So they upload a photo of, let's say they've got a Mustang that they go. It's got suspension, it's got aftermarket wheels, it's got special tires, it's got a supercharger, it's got a dual stereo. They can, through their photo gallery, tag each and every one of the photos with the actual aftermarket parts from that they used on that build, along with the model number, the price, and a link to where they can learn more about it.
Other questions? Yes.
So I heard, I think I pulled this. A couple of you talked about platforms and that sort of being the really great part. But what I want to know, for at least maybe GearBrake, like what's the hook? What's the reason people are starting to use it versus what they're going to benefit from down the line?
Sure. Are you talking about the end consumer, like why the end consumer would put that in there? Yeah, great question. The biggest thing that we've talked to, we talked to a lot of motorcycle riders through the course of our company, is their big pain points are the safety and security side of things. So they really want to be able to alert their loved ones if they've been in an accident. For instance, my wife, she can know that if she hasn't gotten alert and I'm still out riding safe, and at the moment I get into trouble, she can be there to help. The other side of things is theft alerts. Right? So those are the two main things that we're integrating in. The theft alerts will be able to alert you if someone is out there in the parking lot messing with your motorcycle, and you can either intercept that or notify the police and they can come and intercept it, or go and find the vehicle. So we're starting out with those two main features, and then we'll be able to push new features on top of that, and then allow that open API to have other third parties built on top of that and everything else. So, did that answer your question? Okay?
Yeah, anyone else that described platform want to talk about sort of the first, like the hook, the main thing?
Yeah, so I think for us, a platform is about enabling people to have a set of tools to be creative. We restrict it kind of to this enthusiast segment in the automotive power sports segment because it's already a big enough market to go after, plus it's something we're extremely passionate about. But giving people a set of tools versus like us just creating this content, right? There's many reasons. One of the big ones is it's super expensive to create content. So if we can give great tools to brands and to consumers, they can create great content, we end up with a lot more of it. And then as far as, we just launched an embed feature. That's actually one of the main drivers behind our 700% growth just in like 12 weeks. A number of factors have gone into that, but one of the biggest ones is our embed functionality. Allowing somebody to take a little snippet of code and take our very sort of unique experience, which some people might, if they're not thinking from a platform standpoint, might think very much like this is our goal, we're going to protect this and keep it on our site, make people come here. But what we've done by putting it elsewhere on the web is allow many people to experience that, and it's driving our numbers up, building our brand exposure, and ultimately bringing people to the platform.
I think we have time for one more question. And does anyone have a question in particular for Layla from Y Systems? Question. Yes, sure.
How is your service different from adaptive directions you get like on Google Map mobile?
So we're focused on enterprises. Typically when we use Google Maps, the way that I use it to get here is I had one starting point and one end point. The way that our product works is there will be a fleet manager who may be managing 60 or 100 drivers, or maybe so little as 3 or 4. And maybe there will be 1,000 delivered of these drivers' belts. All of these deliveries have different expectations in terms of when customers want them, So the drivers get a digitized list of where they should be next, which changes in real time and adapts to real-time circumstances, be them traffic, produce in town, or whatever it may be. And the fleet manager has a more passive job, where he just makes sure everything is cool and makes sure more orders get into the system, and if things aren't cool, then he responds. So it's a much more bird's eye view for an overall logistics operation in the last mile.
Awesome, thank you so much. Have a round of applause for While we're getting ready for our second half, I just wanted to quickly thank our sponsors. First and foremost, A2Geeks. A2Geeks is a tremendous organization here in Ann Arbor that provides a lot of infrastructure supports to other meetups, be it Ignite Ann Arbor, the Ann Arbor Maker Fair, A2NewTech, of course, Coffee House Coders. So if you're in the Ann Arbor area and interested in these entrepreneurial or other EE meetups, definitely check it out. Our venue sponsor is the University of Michigan Law School Entrepreneurial Clinic. Again, this event would not be possible without their help. They have been extremely generous, both with the use of the audiovisual system and allowing us to book these facilities. And then last but not least, we have our sponsor, R2P, who is now providing live streaming and recorded streaming in HD that we're very excited about. So thank you so much, Roger, for that upgrade. How are we feeling about the second half? Are we ready? Is the audience ready? Up first is Classics and Exotics.
Thank you. So my name is Peter Zawadzki. I'm the CEO of Classics and Exotics. 3 years ago, I bought my first classic car, a 1958 MGA. I was so excited. Always wanted this car. I loved it more than anything, except for my wife. Now let's fast forward a bit. I'm still happy, slightly older, but now with 3 times as many cars. And I'll be honest with you, this is actually out of date because now I'm up to 3.5. Long story. I let my passion get the best of me and now realize that I'm a little bit overextended. Not only because of the vehicles, but also because of all the additional costs. The cost of insurance, storage, and maintenance quickly add up. And all those costs go to vehicles that sit unused. And with over 20 million collector cars in the US, I'm not the only one. Enter Classics and Exotics, a new marketplace that allows owners to monetize their collections by renting them out to pre-screened, highly qualified renters. After all, these cars were built to be driven, not to sit. And to protect each drive, we include $1 million of liability and physical coverage, the industry's leading roadside support provided by Hagerty. And to take safety to a whole nother level, we provide real-time driver analytics to promote and reward safe driving. And to keep things simple, we charge a flat commission on each rental to make sure that everybody on our platform is protected. And classics don't just mean a 1960s or 70s era car. Today's new definition includes modern vehicles as well, like a 2005 Ford Thunderbird or a 2001 Plymouth Prowler. Classics and exotics aren't just defined by age and make, but by use and location. This new definition has helped redefine the potential market, with millennials already offsetting their vacation homes on Airbnb, their boats on Boatbound. Classics and exotics now allows them to offset their collector car purchase. Our business model is simple and proven, but unlike other marketplaces, our owners have the ability to relocate their assets to extend the rental season. And who better to foster the next generation of auto enthusiasts than passionate car guys? Wow, I just love slides. So if you're already an owner or have always wanted to be behind the wheel of one of these amazing vehicles, visit us online and see where the road can lead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jon Rossi. I'm the CEO and founder of My Dealer Service. I'm going to tell you about the biggest department that you've never heard of. So, if you're like me, you get one of these symbols on your dashboard, you start freaking out because it's the fear of the unknown. We know we have to take our car into the dealership, but what we don't know is how long is it going to take, Is it going to be ready by the time I get off from work? Or am I going to be able to pick my kids up and take them to the soccer game? So the reason why this is such a big problem is because there's current outdated technology being used at dealerships. They're looking at screens like this. Now generally you only see the screen twice, right? You see it when you're at the airline counter at the airport, or you see it when you're at the dealership getting your car serviced. Because there currently doesn't exist a mobile-friendly solution for the service department. And try calling your dealer. What ends up happening? You play bracketology to see who gets in to talk to the service writer first. Insert My Dealer Service. For the first time, service writers at a dealership have a mobile-friendly platform to step away from their desk, to go to the point of the repair, talk to the technician, send out live, real-time updates, so you know exactly where your car is and when it's going to be done. Now, to help measure and monitor this, we built in some metrics, such as how would you rate your experience? This lets the dealership know how that service employee is handling the transaction. Now, other metrics we've built in is the upselling component. If you take your car in for brakes, to prove that your brakes are bad and need to be repaired, the service writer can take a picture of your brakes, send you an approval that you can sign real time on your mobile phone. It helps faster throughput through the dealership and faster approvals. Now, the important thing about the survey is that it's how dealerships are measured throughout the United States, whether you're a small dealership or a Ferrari dealership. The better the customer experience, the better the customer retention. Both of those combined equal more revenue to the bottom line. Now, I came here with a couple asks. We're looking for introductions to dealerships, collision centers, or even heavy equipment dealerships. I'm Jon Rossi. This is My Dealer Service.
Hey everyone, I'm Hunter, CEO of Cosmos Labs. We're making mobile internet affordable with app-based pricing. So there's a barrier that exists in the smartphone industry right now. A barrier that prevents people from getting online, both in the US and around the world. And this barrier is a 2-year contract or $150 upfront. That's 2 years signed into your service or $150 upfront for a smartphone, first month of service, and activation fee at a prepaid carrier. Also, really, what is this pricing? Do you understand gigabytes? How long do they last? What can you spend them on? Are they really worth what they're priced at? And why don't they go over to the next month? The truth is that data plans are made to be confusing. They're made so that you buy more than you need. And Cosmos is here to take down that barrier and help you understand your smartphone plan. And we do this with a pay-per-app experience baked into the core Android user interface. So in this situation, we have a user that clicks on Chrome. They can go ahead and accept the $1 charge to use Chrome for 24 hours and then continue to use it without worrying about gigabytes or whether it's going to expire. And the best part, it works for all apps, all types. So this allows you to pay a little bit every day instead of upfront large amounts of money. So I'm going to go ahead and skip these next 2 slides, but we did run a pilot with a local homeless shelter. And that takes up 1 million of the 64 million people in the US that are low income and don't have a smartphone. Compared to the world, there are 5 billion people who have a smartphone. So we sit in the middle between the carrier and the smartphone maker. The smartphone maker still makes the smartphone and sells it to the carrier. The carrier still sells the phone to the user, but our software enables the user to actually buy apps or buy internet in the form of apps. So the business model is simple. The user pays for whatever app they want, the carrier gets a big cut, and we take a small cut for enabling the service. This team is strong. I myself am the technical CEO. I started out programming at Brookhaven National Lab with supercomputers. I operated a computing charity and worked both as a technologist and analyst at Detroit Venture Partners. My co-founder, Rohit, is a brilliant CTO. He's highly skilled and self-taught. He's worked in the industry at Monmouth Telecom as a software engineer,
and he built Cosmos Browser, a web browser that enables internet via SMS. The next step is a 10,000 device pilot, and we hope that you'll come to Demo Day on September 10th and learn a little bit more about our future partners and how the pilot's going to go. Thanks. Again, I'm Hunter, CEO at Cosmos Labs.
All right, cool. You guys ready for something a little bit different here? So this is Elegus. My name is Jon Hennessy. And Elegus, we enable safer, longer-lasting batteries. Specifically, lithium-ion batteries. There's billions of these batteries really everywhere around us, powering so much of our daily lives. Consumer electronics, aerospace applications, and of course, electric vehicles. And I think we're all part of this curve, right? Battery size decreasing over time. But also, we're putting more and more energy inside of these batteries. So batteries shrinking and putting more and more energy inside of them. And when the things that we all love and we all use, like a laptop, when these things innovate faster than the batteries inside of them, we get this. So the empty space right there, that's where the battery goes. Nothing necessarily wrong with that, but is that the best we can do with our batteries today? So batteries today, they're pretty simple. There's a positive end, there's a negative end, and then in the middle, there's a separator. But in most cases, that separator is actually a plastic film. Right? And there's actually a problem with this. Plastic films aren't the strongest, aren't the toughest, aren't the safest, especially in that paradigm I described, right? Especially putting them inside of batteries that are getting smaller and getting more and more energy put inside of them. And there's a problem with this, again, because the results of that can be recalls. Recalls of batteries or recalls of consumer electronics because of heat and safety issues. Or even more high-profile cases like the Boeing Dreamliner aerospace battery, again, because of heat and safety issues. Or just the continued underachievement of our batteries, how long they last, how thin they can go. And you know, there's some truth to this caution we get whenever you guys buy your boarding tickets or book anything. You really can't take these batteries in certain places, and there's reasons for it. So to that end, with over 5 years here at U of M, close to $2 million, we've developed a way to take what's inside bulletproof vests, this Kevlar material, and put that inside the battery, inside the plastic. And the results are great. You see plastic on the right, you see us on the left. Obviously a difference in resilience, in strength, and of course in safety. And when you start putting our technology inside of batteries, they're smaller, they're cheaper, and they last longer. Now, I'm not saying take a hot solder to your battery and your laptop or anything crazy like that, but it is showing just what happens to the environments that the batteries go through. And at the moment, this is it. I'm happy to talk to anyone after about our status and timeline from here that we're going forward after Techstars and all the great things that we're hoping to accomplish. Thank you for listening.
Quick question on that. Do you have any sales booked yet? Do you have any potential customers on that yet?
Yeah, so I can answer this maybe in the intermission.
In like 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, how you guys doing? My name is, thanks for the feedback. My name is Jim Ruiz. I am founder and CEO of CDL Warrior. And thank you. And in the back there is Tim Marmon, our CTO. We are from Pittsburgh, PA. And today I'd like to tell you a little bit about CDL Warrior. So CDL Warrior is a platform that is connecting the trucking industry. And we're doing it in a very simple way. 2 hours is all it's going to take. I'll get to that in a second. But first, let me start with the why. I'm a 20-year experienced industry vet in the logistics industry. So prior to starting the company, I was a senior executive at a company called PLS Logistics. You've probably never heard of it, but they were one of the largest freight brokers in the country. They do a lot in the automotive supply chain. We spent over $500 million a year on truck freight. We had no idea where the trucks were. To make matters worse, we had no tools to help take productivity out of our carriers or our customers' supply chains. And so this was particularly frustrating, especially since all my customers, including large automotives that I sold to, did not accept why we couldn't do it. And why, since there's been the technology around for over 30 years. North American fleetmatics or fleet telematics industry is a $3 billion industry. And yet there's a problem. These systems are made for large trucking companies, yet 90% of the trucking industry is small fleets. These systems require heavy upfront investment and long-term contracts, yet the trucking industry operates on thin margins. And these systems are invasive, hard to use, and are mostly despised by truckers. And the biggest problem in the trucking industry today is you can't find or keep truckers. So here's the rub. The United States is one of the largest and most advanced truck freight networks on the face of the earth. But the reality is 60% of the truck drivers in it are invisible. They have no tracking and they have no productivity tools. And what I saw at PLS, in addition to this being a big pain in the ass, was that right now is the opportunity to solve this problem. See, 80% of truck drivers already own smart devices. We have more technology, more CPUs going down the highways at 65 miles per hour than any time in history. And what I know for sure is tomorrow there'll be more. So what I did is I left and I talked to over 300 drivers. And I asked them, how do we get you to use your personal smart device to help this inefficiency and help track us? So this is Jason. This is one of the first drivers that let me go out and ride with them. Jason is a trucker because his father and his uncle were truckers. And the most important thing for Jason is time. Time is whether Jason can earn a living. Time is whether or not he gets home to see his two daughters and put them to bed on Friday nights. And time is going to determine whether or not Jason stays as a trucker in the trucking industry. So let me show you how Jason manages time. The federal government requires him to fill out a piece of paper for every hour that he works. And he has to do this in duplicate using carbon paper. Every shipment he goes to, he has to get a bill of lading. And if he wants to get paid by the end of the week, he has to put all this back to his fleet using truck top scanners, mail, or on the weekends he has to go to the fleets. CDL Warrior is creating a smartphone app and a platform that is helping Jason save time on the road. And by doing that, we are connecting him to his fleet, the brokers that use him, and the shippers that rely on him. Our smartphone app takes all that paperwork and makes just a couple taps where Jason is able to do it. And so what's the hook? Here's the 2 hours. We help Jason save 2 hours, and what that means is 25,000 extra miles that Jason's able to drive per year. And Jason gets paid per mile that he drives. That's $12,500 extra earnings that he's able to do. Do you think we have a hook when Jason's average income is $50,000? And for the fleet that hires Jason, that's an extra $50,000 per year in revenue per driver. CDL Warrior, our goal is to build the largest network of drivers, fleets, shippers, and brokers that's ever existed. And by doing so, we are going to put ourselves as a platform right in the middle of a $700 billion trucking industry in the US. So they have 3 asks. Ask number 1 is we are building out our development team. Today, because we're ramping through Techstars, we're going to have close to 8,000 drivers on the system. And so we're looking for designers, and we're looking for developers to add to our team. The second ask is, the next time you pass a truck driver, instead of whatever it is, mouth it or give him a bird or whatever, just give a shit about what he does. It's a really hard job, and they spend a lot of time doing it. And the third is, I'd like to get a selfie, if you guys don't mind. So. All right, thank you.
Okay, I think that is it for our second half. And so can we get back on stage, Classics and Exotics, My Dealer Services, Cosmos Labs, Elegus Technologies, and CDL Warrior. Questions for these presenters? We have a lot of them. I'm not sure where to start here. Let me see here. Go ahead. Yeah.
This is for Cosmos. You mentioned that your pilot was with like a homeless shelter. So do you guys view yourself as a social enterprise, or is that just an entry-level market?
I mean, there's always like a good component to it, right? Like a social good component. I wouldn't put us in the position of like a nonprofit or anything. You know, we're still a for-profit company, but you know, connectivity is really important to us, and that's like our mantra is to connect people who can't afford to be connected. And however we can do that, that's fine for us.
Awesome. I think there's a question way in the back.
So I have a question for MDS, John, and also CDL for MDS. Like, I love the part where you can, the repairman can take a photo of what's bad and what's good and send it and have a sign. Now, what about parts that you can't take it out? You have to, it's embedded inside the engine. Like, how do you make that comparison to go out? And for CDL, I didn't hear how you address that paper issue that they have to fill out. Do you build reports automatically and to generate for the drivers that they can reimburse or something like that?
So the question about parts that cannot be removed that are being repaired, we also have a video component. So it's been shown that repairs have been approved by videos by up to 10%. So without taking pictures, as long as there can be a video that's taken care of, whether it's listening for the sound or maybe like a window actuator, how it's supposed to roll up or roll down, those can still be taken even though you can't take the physical window out.
And for CDL Warrior, so one of the features in the mobile app automates their paper logbooks. So they can do this using the GPS of the smartphone just to automate the different statuses. And then when they sign it, which in 2012 the federal government passed a regulation equating an electronic signature to a written signature, pretty much opened the door for all this. As soon as it's signed, that automatically goes to the cloud and it's visible to the fleet, which takes about 13 days off of the time that the fleet normally would get that and lets them audit it to that.
Yes, another question.
So for the material in the lithium batteries, do you actually have any prototyping or anything you're working on now with that?
Yes. So we like I said, we've been doing this for close to 5 years now, a little over 5 years, and it takes a long time because we're scaling up from this material science of dissolving this cowbar material and making it into films. And so the next step with that is exactly what you were mentioning. It's putting this material inside of real batteries, testing them. You make more of them, you make larger amounts of them, you test them in even bigger batteries, and all that takes time, and you scale up to producing industry size. So yes, these are in real cells, these are in real batteries, and we have great results from them. We continue to scale up today.
Do you have a projection to production for this?
Yeah, so happy to talk about that after, but there's going to be a difference between funding reps and how that impacts if this is going to be 6, 12, 18 months away from now. But compared to the rest of the teams out here, we are kind of more of a long haul because we are material science.
I saw a question way over here.
This is regarding the lithium-ion battery. Did your future sales projection take into consideration the advances being made in solid-state battery technologies that some manufacturers are looking forward to replace lithium-ion batteries?
So solid state's a different battery than what we're working with because that doesn't have the liquid inside of it. So that's kind of outside of our market. We're in lithium-ion batteries. That includes having that non-solid state component. And that's not going to kind of replace everything all at once. It's going to replace certain applications over time. And there's going to be next generation lithium batteries that we are compatible with. And so we are looking to the long term. I think that's kind of the gist of the question, how far away we're looking. And we're just making sure that our technology is compatible with the trends that are coming.
Yes, another question.
Yeah, for classics and exotics, what's the key differentiator that you guys are using to separate yourselves from like classiccarrentals.com and some of these other Me Too sites?
So a lot of the existing car rental services are out there. They own their fleets, and they have to cover all the overhead for that. So not only the physical locations, but owning all the cars, the insurance and everything else. And it's only limited in small geographic areas. we're launching our platform nationwide, so there's going to be a wider selection of vehicles. And it's also a wider variety of vehicles, everything from 30s, 40s, all the way to modern vehicles. And that's the biggest difference. We also allow the individual who lists their vehicle on our platform to be able to choose their price. So a vehicle that may be renting for $1,200 to $1,300 in a traditional format will be listed at around $600 or $700 on our platform.
I see a question way in the back.
A question for CDL Warrior. How do you anticipate dealing with automated trucks as they come in the near future? How do you plan your company to navigate through that?
Thank you for asking that question. And that's actually that was the last thing that I thought about before I quit a six-figure job to do this. What I know for sure about the trucking industry is it's going to be different tomorrow, and that will be a big part of it. And two trends is what that's going to cause. Automation and vehicles will cause two things to happen different. One is it's a variable cost industry that's going to transition to becoming a fixed cost industry. The incumbents are going to get killed unless they have tools. And the second thing is the data is really going to be much more valuable then than it is now. And so as the platform sitting in the middle of a $700 billion industry, we're also going to be the data collector.
I think I saw another question.
This is for Cosmos. We talked at the beginning a little bit about how you're trying to make it clear kind of what you're paying for and what you're getting. Common sales technique is to break down, $150. Well, that's really just a coffee a day for a month, and it kind of still confuses the issue. With usage of applications differing from day to day, are you worried that people still won't have a clear idea how much they're actually paying for what they're getting?
Yeah, so I guess we could start with just like how uneducated the average consumer really is. For example, when we sell mobile data on our app, it doesn't say 4G internet, it says no Wi-Fi required. And I know for most tech people sitting in this room, you wouldn't understand that. A lot of people don't understand the difference between like mobile internet and Wi-Fi. I'll have customers still call me and say, how do I buy Wi-Fi? And so what we try to do is we make it clear by saying you're buying this app. You're buying access to that app. It doesn't matter how it's powered. So now you're sort of forgetting the whole gigabytes, whatever's powering it, you're just paying for that app. Now how we price that, we're looking at how our users are using those apps, and then we're dynamically pricing it based on that. So say we see Facebook uses 150 megabytes on average per user, we might price it at around 200 megabytes, whatever that may cost, let's say that's 25 cents.
Price might need to change day to day on the application?
No, I mean, it shouldn't change that much. I mean, Facebook was running this experiment in the Philippines with Internet Network, if you're familiar with that, and they started out at 50 cents and they stayed at 50 cents and they showed like able to make great margins on their platform. So I think it's just about creating like a high enough margin on top of the price.
Excellent. How about a round of applause for our presenters? Before we treat loose this evening, we always want to leave some time for community announcements. I know there was at least one.
Yes. Hey everyone, I'm Sam. I'm a designer at FarmLogs. We have a design group we're putting together called Ann Arbor Design Group. And we're going to meet in the next month here. If you're looking for information, you can email me at sam@farmlogs.com or a2design.org. I think that's still up. We are people interested in UX product design, come see me. Thanks.
Awesome. Yes, please.
Tomorrow we are hosting the first ever Ann Arbor Lean Startup Circle, so kind of similar tech, entrepreneurial related to A2NewTech, but we're definitely not competing. It's going to be hosted at Hook Logic, which I think the address is 523 South Main Street, starting at 6:30. We're going to kind of introduce some of the things we want to talk about in the future, but the kind of key highlight is talk about the chance to earn $5,000 at $1 million valuation for doing something you should be doing as an entrepreneur anyway. So hopefully we'll see some of you there. Hook Logic tomorrow at 6:30.
Awesome. This is an excellent chance for me to remind people that if you post comments on the A2NewTech meetup, that's an excellent way to send out links to this group of people for your meetup. I think there's some people queuing up here for presentation announcements.
Hi, my name is Patrick. I'm the organizer of the Ann Arbor Ruby Brigade. We meet the last Tuesday of every month. Our next meeting will be a week from tonight at the offices of Alpha Django. That's in the basement of the Tech Brewery. Until recently, that was the offices of Pillar, so you might recognize it from that. This month we're going to be doing lightning talks, and I'm also looking for volunteers for lightning talks. So if anybody's interested in Ruby, you can find us at a2rv.org, and we're also on Meetup.
Awesome, thank you.
Fun. Hopefully I don't actually need this. Hi folks, my name is John Minder. Me and Coach Harbaugh abruptly packed our stuff and moved home to Ann Arbor from California. And as part of that, I had to uproot and bring some cool new technologies and companies with me. And like the classic car guy, I am way overextended. So I'm looking for founders, co-founders. I got a number of things across different industries, in various stages from idea to prototype. So CTOs, developers, designers, marketers, engineers.
Does the organization have a name?
Anything. Come and talk to me.
Yes, another community announcement.
Hi there. I'm representing Krista Chambers Price tonight and EntreSlam. So the next EntreSlam event, which stands for entrepreneurs, and think like poetry slam, so entrepreneurs telling their story, is on Thursday, September 24th. A new venue announcement. It's at Bar Louie, just like the one in June. Now, this should be speaking to everybody in this community because we can all be telling our entrepreneurial stories better and understand that this is a series of events that culminates in a finale, and the winner of that finale wins $10,000. What other $10,000 prize is there for getting up and telling your story in this community? So you should be all over it. EntreSlam is spelled ENTRE-SLAM, EntreSlam.com. I'll put it on the comments, but really, we should be all over this. And the final, by the way, is in December at the Arc. Thanks.
Thank you. Announcements with, or their attention with a $10,000 prize. I think Doug, you had an announcement?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Duo Security. So I just invite everybody to this Thursday. We're doing one of our monthly events called Duo Tech Talks, and we host a different speaker on some topic of technical interest. In recent past, we've had vehicle hacking, IoT security, a whole bunch of stuff like this. But if you have interest in security, come by. It'll be at 6 p.m. this Thursday, and check out Duo Tech Talks at meetup.com to join. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Other announcements.
Hi, good evening. I'm Brad. Hi, Doug. Good to meet you. I'm a teacher, actually, so I'm a little bit out of my element here. So I just wanted to talk briefly about a different type of mobility, and that's the mobility of having students go from passive recipients of knowledge to engaged lifelong learners. And as an kind of accidental entrepreneur and someone who believes that our schools need to be changing to create more passionate people that can come up here and create amazing things for the world like we saw tonight, I'm really excited to make the announcement that there's a documentary film called Most Likely to Succeed that's coming to Michigan, specifically to Ann Arbor and Metro Detroit region. It's in October at the Michigan Theater, October 18th. I'll put a link in the forum. But anyone in here that's part of an organization that's interested in supporting education in our local communities should check that out. I've got a new little guy that I have less than 2,000 days before he goes to kindergarten. And there's nothing more important to me than making sure that the school that he goes into is engaging him as a learner so that he can be passionate in life as well. So if you care about school, you care about kids, check out Most Likely to Succeed or mltsfilm.org and get involved in the Ann Arbor Metro Detroit films. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks.
My name is Russell Schiller. I'm from Traverse City, and I've been coming down here to these meetings for about a year and a half, 2 years, and met a lot of great people. But I like these meetings so much that I started doing the same thing up in Traverse City. We came up with this creative name called TCUTech. TCUTech.org. Basically, it's the exact same format as here. We've had 3 meetings so far now. It's been very well attended. We have like 57 people in Traverse City. So, if you've got an idea, or any of you guys in the Traverse City area would like to have you present it there. So, TCUTech.org, Russell Shaikley.
I represent SMART at the University of Michigan. We're a research initiative. But we have a platform for entrepreneurs that are working in the mobility space. We also have a prize. And right now we're accepting applications for the awards, and the applications are open till August 30th. There are cash prizes to be won, there's mentorship opportunities, networking opportunities, and a trip to India where the award ceremony will take place at a conference on new mobility and entrepreneurship. So I just wanted to throw it out there. I'm going to put a comment as well, a link to the Mobi platform website, which is mobi-platform.com, or you can search Mobi Prize. And the applications are open till August 30th. It's a very brief form, and there's a specific prize for Michigan-based entrepreneurs, which even allows for companies that are right now at early stage companies but have a product or a service related to sustainable transportation, which includes moving goods, moving people, or moving less, anything to do with information technology as well. So anyone out there who's interested, please do apply.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm one of the organizers of the kind of sister event called the A2NewTech event. Everyone likes to drink, everyone likes entrepreneurship here in the room. We usually go to a bar. This month we're going to go to Dominic's. So 2 weeks from now we'll be at Dominic's. And it kind of happens between the A2NewTech events. So it's on the same meetup page as A2NewTech. I hope you guys can see you there, but otherwise it's already up and you can sign up right now. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. I think we have one last community announcement.
Okay.
Yes, please. All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Brian Kelly. Zach mentioned at the beginning that I'm going to take over for organizing this meetup on a monthly basis from here on out. So my ask is for anyone that ever wants to try a pitch of their company, organization, or you know someone that might be a good candidate for that. It was awesome to have 10 companies represented from Techstars today, but on a week-to-week basis, try to involve anybody in and around the community. And I'll be the one pulling that stuff together. So I also wanted to plug a company I joined recently called Nutshell. We build collaborative software for sales teams. We're hiring across all departments, engineering, both on mobile and web, as well as sales, marketing, and support. For both any inquiries there, just check out our website, and Brian at nutshell.com will get to me if you're interested in potentially pitching here at some point this year. So that's it.
Cool. Thank you.
Organizers.
Oh yes, organizers and A2NewTech is the email address to send
you want to
inquiries
present.
to. Yes. So it is sort of an A2NewTech tradition afterwards to go out for food and drink. Would anybody interested in going to Pizza House afterwards for food and beverages? Okay, well some of us will be heading over there a little bit after discussion. I don't want to belabor this point too much, but it's really been a pleasure being part of A2NewTech for the past 2.5 years. Thank you so much, Joe.
Now we know the reason there's such a big turnout.
That's right, that's right. You guys humble me. Really, the strength of this event is the presenters who have come. Thank you so much for coming and joining us, the community, for all the events you organize. Thank you, Doug, so much for having us this event back in 2008, I think. Yeah, and many happy years forward. Thank you guys.